you mentioned the Widowmaker, the reputation from times previous. How would you describe what had happened to get the aeroplane that reputation and that particular name?
Well, today it's pretty much obvious. The Germans introduced the Starfighter in a very, very short time, in a limited time. And neither the bases nor the pilots nor the mechanics were actually ready. So the bases, the planes were standing out in the cold and rain. There were no protective shelters then. There was still a different maintenance system with squadron maintenance. Now we had a centralized system, which was introduced in the early 60s. We had a poor system management, poor parts management. They were dealing with everyday errors. Today it was a navigation problem, next day it's an engine problem, and they were trying to cope with this. The pilots came from subsonic, forgiving, low-speed planes, and they were not aware that the aerodynamic capabilities were totally different in the Starfighter. Take anything from speed to angle of attack and sink rate, especially, a very, very bad killer. And so I would say material management, organizational errors, also technical problems. The early nozzle, the afterburner nozzle tended to swing open on takeoff, killing a few people. Then the first ejection seat was firing downwards, not upwards. Imagine, in low-level flight. The successor, the C2, Lockheed C2 ejection seat, would fire upside the correct way up, but there were a couple of instances of the seat hitting the pilot after ejection, killing him. So the proper seat-man separation never really took place. Then various problems. The engine was always good. I mean, the J79 from the beginning was a very reliable engine, but the accessories like the auto pitch control system, as I said, the big issue was definitely the nozzle, and I would say this pretty much wraps it up. So mechanical problems, training problems, organizational errors, and it all accumulated in the mid-60s to a point where almost every day a star would fall out of the sky. And Steinhoff, the guy's badly bruised general from World War II, he said in the end of 1966, this is it, we must stop flying for a limited period of time, put all planes on the ground and evaluate the situation. And he came up with the proper procedures. And ever since, everything was good.
So that nozzle swinging open, then presumably that means a loss of thrust. So if the nozzle swings open, the pressure inside the chamber is lowered, and
exactly.
And so I think you've referenced the auto pitch control, and maybe you'll just explain to us in a minute what those things are, and perhaps have a deeper discussion around sink rates and those sorts of things. But you talked about there being a T handle in the cockpit that you could pull to lock the exhaust petals, the nozzle. Was that for that particular problem? So if it started to swing open, you could pull that and lock it?
Yes, it is. Actually, it was an emergency T handle on the left-hand side, not far from the windscreen, and you had to do real quick reaction pulling of this T handle in order to close the nozzle to a mechanical 50% or whatever area, so to give it that thrust that you'd actually jump over the fence and head for clear skies. Because if you didn't react in time, if you were confused or looking what was going on, it was too late, and we have lost guys due to that. And another issue, the auto pitch control, that is a system which is working with the AOA probe, with the angle of attack probe on the outside of the plane that every plane has. If you exceed a certain angle of attack, then first a shaker will shake the control stick, and then finally a kicker would come in and physically push the stick forward to reduce the angle of attack. And now, if this happens at low level, it could happen that it kicks you into the ground. So there's an auto pitch control cutout switch, APC cutout, which may help you in such a situation.